Hey everyone, it's Laurie from Quick Scrap Craft back again with a Freaky Fest formula challenge, but this is also part of the Off the Board challenge. So every month a group of scrapbookers gets together. It's always the last Wednesday of the month, and we take something from our Pinterest boards and let it inspire us to create a layout. So obviously I went onto Pinterest to find a Freaky Fest formula challenge, and this one is from March 2024. And so I have a 3x2 piece, that's this little guy here, a 2x12 piece, which is this guy here, 4 3.5 by 3.5 squares. So essentially this is the backside to this. These two are the backsides to each other. And then this was an extra piece that actually was in, a similar color scheme to these. And then I've got, so it said an 8-inch circle, but my Creative Memories circle cutter only goes up to 6.5. So don't tell anyone. I don't think it counts as cheating. I still have a big circle, but it's 6.5 instead of 8 because I didn't feel like trying to go find like a dinner plate to trace and whatever. So these are all the elements. It kind of, and this is going to be the background. I'm going to use this craft cardstock for the background of this because there's a little bit, I thought about using this as the background because I really liked that yellow and the way it's coming in through some of these other pieces. But I also did want to use it as a pattern with all these other patterns. So this is the background. There's some green in here. That's why I pulled in some green for this. And now we just got to figure out how to make it all fit together. Okay, so yeah, this one was kind of challenging because it wasn't coming to me as quickly as some of the other Freaky Fest formulas that I've done this month. So you're going to see me move things around in a lot of different ways. This configuration, I didn't mind that much, but then I still have that leftover piece that I needed to use, and I just wasn't, it just didn't fit in that sort of configuration. However, I like the way it looks with the circle and the 4 squares around it, and that might be something that I do at another time on another layout. I also didn't mind it with the 2 circles or the 2 squares up in the top right with 2 squares down in the bottom left. Again, something I might be willing to try on another layout at some point. But because this is a Freaky Fest formula challenge, I've got to use all the pieces that are required to meet the challenge criteria. So what I'm liking for sure is that paper strip that goes from top to bottom, and then 3 of the squares down at the bottom. The circle seems like it needs to go in the middle somewhere, so I'm kind of putting it more over to the left, a little bit behind that paper strip, and then I am planning on layering the other square on top, and then maybe turning that smaller piece of pattern paper, the very last one, into like a banner. I seem to be doing that a lot, using banners. But I just need to figure out what's going to work best given the different photos that I have and what I can cut down, because obviously those squares are going to need to be mats for the photos. And so ultimately what I end up going with are these photos taken at our local farm from October 2023, because that's the month of photos, that I'm working on right now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 of those photos and cut them down so that they fit inside the pattern paper squares. And then I will keep one of those photos, which is a 4x6 horizontal. I will keep it that size, and I will have that be kind of in the center, make it sort of the bridge between the top of the page and the bottom. So I don't have any problem with sticking down the squares and the photos down at the bottom, because I know for sure that I like that configuration. I like where those are going. I just need, so I have no problem, getting those down. But as you can see, I'm still kind of like putting this photo there, like, well, I think it's going to go there, but I need to visualize it. So things might, continue to get moved around a little bit as I work. I don't know. I got to go back and see what the Scrap Room design team created for this challenge, because I'm really curious to see how they worked all of these all of these pieces together. Okay, because I am recording this as a voiceover, I can stop the recording and go do something else and then come back. So that's what I did. I just stopped the recording and I went to the scraproomblog.blogspot.com and I searched for the March 2024 Freaky Fast Friday Formula Challenge reveal post. And I am loving how the design team member used the pieces on this. I don't know how they create the Freaky Fast formulas, if they have created a layout in advance and then they say, this looks really good, let me write down all the elements that I used and see if somebody else can see what somebody else can create with these pieces. So essentially, because I don't have it here to show you, the circle is off on the left-hand side, and it's not a full circle. It kind of goes off the page. The paper strip is on the left-hand side as well, and that's where I put mine. Then she's using one of the squares in the center of the circle, and the other squares go from top to bottom on the right-hand side of the page. And she's also added in a couple extra background layers. And, you know, I don't know. I feel like maybe one of those squares did get cut down a little bit. Doesn't look exactly the same size. I'm not seeing... I don't know where she put the other paper element, but that could be part of the embellishments that are in the squares. It looks really great. I encourage you to go check that out. They might have it on their Pinterest, actually. So I'm going to try to remember to put the March 2024 pin down in the description box below, since, you know, this was a Pinterest-inspired challenge as well. And so from there, you can see the Scrap Room Pinterest account and check all the cool things that they have there. And hopefully this layout is there. I don't know who made it because it doesn't. Oh, it's from Shannon Allure. So I don't know if she created the Freaky Fast Formula Challenge or she just created the page. But yeah, this was definitely a challenging one. But I really like what she created. And I don't know why I didn't think to do that. But you know. Oh, you can also find her on the She's Crafty YouTube channel. I think I follow her on YouTube, so she's a good one. All right, so back to mine. And also, because this is also part of the Off the Board Challenge, you're going to find everybody who's participating down in the comments below as well, so definitely check them out. Okay, so I've got the photos all in the squares. You can see that I've moved the little banner down underneath the photo because it was going to get covered up if I left it up at the top, and I didn't want to do that. So I've got my circle, I've got all of the cut paper elements down, and now I just got to put this last photo down, and then I got to add in some embellishments, which of course is another thing that I do off camera, because it would just be really boring for you to watch me go through all my embellishments trying to find stuff. And I didn't pull anything in advance of this because I wasn't sure what photos I was going to be using. So you can see here, that's the configuration with the photos. I got 5 photos on the page. Now I'm going to do the titling. And the titling, because these are pictures from a fall field trip to Off the Farm. I'm going to call this page Falling for You. They're all pictures of my daughter. And so it's, you know, the title is falling, if you get that. And then since she's in it, it's her that we're falling for in fall. So I'm using some Simple Stories alpha die cuts, and those are going to be for the word falling. As you can see, I haven't quite finished the title because once again, like I need to visualize things and think a little bit more about what I'm putting down. So I knew I wanted to use multiple alpha stickers, but at first I was just going to do Falling and You in those same alphas. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to do it in 3 different alphas. So that's the plan. I just don't have it down yet. I've got a little embellishment cluster up there at the top, a little ice cream because my daughter's face was in an ice cream photo op. And then there's a little fall piece from, I think, Pink Fresh that says Take Note. And then there's a journaling spot up there at the top. So that's my little embellishment cluster of 3, but I will be adding to that as I go along. Of course, the first thing I need to do really is stick down those letters for once and for all. And because they're not self-adhesive and the adhesive that I do use, it would just be too difficult. They're too small for the adhesive that I do use. So I'm going to stick them down with some Elmer's glue. It goes on purple, I know, but it does dry clear. in case you're like, what are you doing? But I use this glue a lot. It's always on my desk because you never know when you're going to need it for something that needs some extra adhesive, or, you know, in this case, something that's just too small to be used with the kind of adhesive that I normally use. So the FOR is coming from a Photoplay Alpha sticker sheet. And then the word U is coming from an American Crafts puffy sticker sheet, or the American Crafts thickers, which I always am a fan of. Foam thickers is what they are. So there's the title. I like using different alphas in titles. I think it looks really cool. Now I'm adding in a couple extra embellishments. So I've got a star and a gem sticker, and then like a little puffy sticker that's, you know, fits with the color scheme that's going on here. And I'm going to do the same thing down in the bottom right and the bottom left, adding in a few more little embellishment clusters. And of course, I also am going to be adding some, as you can see, right underneath the title. So I'm just kind of building things out and adding in a lot of stuff. So there was a sticker that I had down at the bottom photo in the middle, and I decided to peel that up and actually use it underneath the title. So the middle photo is not going to have any embellishments. That was the original plan. It's not going to have anything now. I'm only going to have embellishments on the top photo, the bottom two on the left and right, and then around the titling. So I'm pulling in these chipboard stars, and I think the chipboard stars are American Crafts, and the gem stickers that I got from Joann's, and little puffy stickers, puffy circles that are also part of an American Crafts sticker sheet. And I'm just doing one of each. So we got, again, an arrangement of 3, and I'm doing one of each around each embellishment cluster. Again, I've got a triangle going on. Even with the photos, there's a bit of a triangle, and then there's a triangle between the embellishment clusters, and then, you know, the grouping of 3s is also a triangle. So that aesthetic, that what's the word I'm looking for? That technique is something that I do a lot of. The rule of 3s, triangles, diagonals. I find it really helpful to remember to do that on scrapbook layouts, and it can really help you figure out the placement of things if you are stuck. So I hope that this video was inspiring for you, that it helps get you unstuck, and that you check out what everybody else created for Off the Board this month. I'll see you on my social channels, and next time. Bye.